Hey everyone, and welcome back to another under $5 eShop deals video, where each and every week we look at the best games to currently pick up on the Nintendo Switch eShop, especially if you're on a budget. Now don't forget that if you want to make sure you're not missing out on any deals, last week's video will also be linked in my top pinned comment down below because some of those deals are still running for this week. Lastly, don't forget to drop your comment down below because that will automatically enter you in this week's $5 eShop gift card giveaway. All you need to do to find out if you won is check out the regular eShop deals video on the weekend. So now let's jump straight into the deals. Just don't forget that if you do like what you're seeing, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. Now our first deal for this week is going to be on 99 Vidas. That is back to 80% off for only $1.99 and will be running all the way to November 5th. So this game is a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up with a beautiful retro pixel art style. And whether you actually know the source material that this game is based off of, which are characters from a Brazilian podcast team, it doesn't really matter because the mechanics and gameplay are just great on their own. Also, let's not forget that this game offers 4-player local co-op, so it's a great game to pick up if you have a few friends coming over and just want to have some beat-em-up fun. If you need any more convincing, it's also offering a free downloadable demo. Now next, we also have the return of Bot Vice that is back to 80% off for only $1.99 and will have the deal running till November 11th. Now this game is a fast-paced arcade-style gallery shooter, once again with some pretty beautiful retro-style pixel art. The last time I presented this game, I maybe didn't put enough emphasis on how difficult this game can become, and there are 3 difficulty levels, but even at the rookie level, this game will be offering some pretty decent challenge. But if you're the kind of player in search of some fast-paced arcade-style fun, Bot Vice at only $2 is definitely a steal, and this one, yet again, is offering a free downloadable demo. Now our next deal is a returning favorite of mine with Dogurai that is now 60% off for only $1.99 and will have the deal running till November 5th. Now to start with, I am a sucker for a Game Boy styled retro action platformer. And what I love about Dogurai is it mixes Mega Man styled level design with almost Ninja Gaiden style action. And although many would consider this game to be a very challenging retro styled game, what I love about it is it offers an infinite live mode, meaning that as long as you're willing to put the time in to learn the levels, you can definitely all knock this game out. Plus, if you finish the game, you unlock the second character, which is a shooter type character and makes it feel just like a Mega Man game. Overall, in my opinion, a great pickup for only $2. Now our next deal is actually a brand new one to the series and one that I'm super happy to be presenting, with OVIVO being 71% off, now dropping to only $2, and that will be running till November 6th. Now OVIVO can only be described as a monochromatic puzzle platformer, where your main way of dealing with the different puzzles or progressing through the levels is changing the color of your main character, a little sphere that can either go white or black, and basically will help him sink into the background of black elements or pop to the surface of the white backgrounds. Now getting used to the physics at first can take a little bit of time, but once you do, there's a lot to discover here. Just one slight warning, there are a few really odd difficulty spikes throughout the game. However, if you love puzzle platformers, I definitely think this is one you should definitely look at trying for this week. On top of it, once again, a free downloadable demo is available. Now our next deal for today is going to be Steamworld Dig that is now 75% off for only $2.49 and will have the deal running all the way to November 14th. And on top of it, this will be my pick of the week. So prepping my list of Metroidvania games this week had me boot back up both Steamworld Dig 1 and 2. And it made me remember just how fantastic of a Metroidvania both these games are. Basically trying to balance exploration without going too deep into the mine where unfortunately you might lose half of your haul. But definitely for anyone who's a fan of platformers, or more specifically Metroidvania games, at only $2.49, this game is an amazing steal for this week. Now our next deal for today will be Tales from Space Mutant Blobs Attack that is back to 75% off for $2.49 and will have the deal running till November 8th. This game is a 2D puzzle platformer that has a thematic that is a throwback to 50s alien invasion movies. And actually, in my opinion, it is a seriously underrated puzzle platformer on the Nintendo Switch. Its mechanics and gameplay are extremely enticing. And I would say that the only major point against this game is that it is quite short, which is why at its full price of $10, maybe a lot of people didn't think it was worth it. But today, at 75% off for $2.49, it is amazing value for that price. Now, our next deal for this week is actually a set of games that is at a brand new lowest ever price, with both Edna and Harvey games being at 85% off for only $3, with a deal running till November 11th. Now, the Edna and Harvey series are remasters of two classic point-and-click adventures. Once again, in a sort of Monkey Island style of gameplay that mixes basically puzzle solving with bizarre humor and some great characters. Also, what I really appreciated here is they modernized the controls for the games, so it's actually much easier to basically make your way through the game than the originals. Especially that we don't have a mouse and keyboard on the Nintendo Switch. Overall, they were already a great deal when they were at $5, so now at $3, they're an even better pickup. Our next deal is perfectly timed for the season, with Haunted Halloween 86 being 70% off at $2.99, and will have the deal running till November 2nd. Now, Haunted Halloween is a true retro game, meaning that it was actually developed with the limitations of the NES in mind. And it is a great 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up, however, with some pretty intense platforming sections. And although the graphics and design are definitely 8-bit, they have integrated some more modern mechanics, especially the combat system that almost has some Street Fighter-like moves. However, I do want to give one little bit of warning, the game does get very challenging towards the end. So before picking this one up, make sure you're up to the challenge. Now, our next deal for this week is another one that is at a brand new low, with Unravel 2 being 83% off for only $3.39, and that will be running till November 1st. Now, this is another great adventure puzzle platformer with a very original mechanic where you basically control two different characters that are attached by a rope. Using this rope, you're going to have to basically use different physics components to make your way around the different obstacles. It is one of the most original mechanics I've seen in a long time for a puzzle platformer. On top of it, you can even play in local two-player co-op, where each person is controlling one of the two characters for an even higher level of fun. Now, our next deal is one that actually came very close to being my pick of the week, which is Guacamelee, the Super Turbo Championship Edition at 75% off for $3.74, that will be running till November 8th. Now, this is another great Metroidvania that I dived back into very recently, and even its successor, Guacamelee 2, actually made my list of top 10 Metroidvanias on the Nintendo Switch. And I'll be honest with you, this first entry wasn't far off. In this game, you play as a Mexican wrestler, and what's really fun for a Metroidvania is this one is more based around humor and a colorful environment than a dark and bleak one. At the same time, with some amazing fighting mechanics and great level designs, this game is an absolute steal at $3.74. Now, our next deal is a very original type pickup for this week, and that is Severed, that is back to $3.74, also running till November 8th. Now, this is one of the rare Switch games that actually cannot be played in docked mode. You have to be playing in tabletop or handheld mode because it's all dependent on touch controls. And although that sounds off-putting to some, this is probably one of the best touch control design games that I ever played through. On top of it, it has some amazing visuals. And once again, if you're the owner of a Switch OLED, this is one of those games you have to fire back up. I did so myself this week, and oh my god, what a difference on the Nintendo Switch OLED. But ultimately, this game is an amazing deal, especially when you're picking it up for only $3.74. Now, our next game is yet another entry that came very close to being the deal of the week, and that is Flipping Death at 80% off for $3.99, and that will be running all the way to November 14th. Now, this is yet again another amazing adventure puzzle platformer, once again with a very original concept, where you can basically flip between the world of the living and the world of the dead. Now, this is a game with a fair bit of dark humor, where you're basically trying to solve the mystery of your own death. and most of your adventure is actually helping other dead individuals by taking control of the living characters and solving the puzzles. But overall, this game has one of the most beautiful visual designs I've seen in a long time on a Nintendo Switch game, and on top of it, the gameplay is extremely enticing. Now, I know I've said this before for this week, but if you want to try an extremely original puzzle platformer, definitely give Flipping Death a try, especially when it's only $3.99. Now, our next deal for this week is going to be Slime Sand. That is 60% off, dropping the price to $4.79, and once again, we'll have the deal running till November 14th. Now, this is a very challenging, reaction-based action platformer. As a reference point, think of Super Meat Boy. However, it has its own very unique visual art style and its own feeling to the level designs and the different basic obstacles. The only thing I do want to mention, however, is I've already seen this game much cheaper on the eShop, I believe hitting as low as $2.99. And although I do think it's still a very good pickup at $4.79, that is something I wanted to point out before you jump into this deal. Also, on a final note, if you need to, there's also a free downloadable demo available for this game. Now, I know I've said it a lot, but our next entry is another game that it could have easily been a pick of the week quality, and that is Steamworld Heist, the Ultimate Edition, at 75% off, dropping the price to only $4.99, and once again running all the way to November 14th. Now, this is another game set in the Steamworld universe. However, this time you have a turn-based strategy type of game. I would loosely compare this to a 2D XCOM style game. And I have to tell you that if you are a fan of strategy games on the Nintendo Switch, this is a must-play game. And content-wise, this game is amazing because at only $5, you're getting 20 plus hours of gameplay for the main campaign and plus a new game plus mode. And since this game is based on procedurally generated levels, each playthrough is almost like a brand new adventure. Overall, this game is a great pickup even at its full price of $20, so when you're getting it for only $4.99, once again, this game is just amazing value. So now it's time for this week's Sizzle Reel of Deals. that was pretty much it for this week's list of under $5 eShop deals. So as usual, I love to hear from all of you, so let me know what games you're going to be picking up for this week. Also, just before we go, I really got to give a huge shout out to the channel supporters. They help the channel grow in a huge way, and if you want any more information on memberships, all you need to do is check out the link down below in the description of the video. And on the way out, don't forget that if you did like what you saw, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel if you aren't already and hitting that notification bell so you know when all my future content comes out. And as usual, I hope I'll see you in my next video.